discussion, Mr. Keku Bomi, Gazder, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Aviapro Logistics Services. Can we please have resounding applause for Mr. Keku? With vast experience in air freight forwarding and end-to-end cargo logistics, he oversees global operations, strategic growth, and client service excellence, positioning Aviapro as a trusted partner in international logistics. We welcome you, Mr. Keku, on the dais. Next, I'd like to invite on the stage Mr. Halit. Mr. Halit, I request you to join us on the stage, VP Cargo Sales, MEASA, Turkish Cargo. With extensive experience in air freight markets and network expansion, he drives commercial strategy and regional cargo connectivity while strengthening Turkish cargo's presence across emerging trade corridors. So good to see you, Halit. Next, I would like to invite on stage Ms. Kiran, Jain, Chief Operating Officer, Noida International Airport, with over 3 decades of leadership experience in aviation and hospitality across India and the United States. She has played a pivotal role in airport development, air service expansion, and operational excellence, helping shape one of India's most significant aviation infrastructure projects. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Vaibhav, Vohra, Managing Director, Continental Carriers, a respected leader in India's logistics and freight forwarding industry. Mr. Vohra has played a significant role in strengthening Continental Carriers' position as one of India's country's leading integrated logistics solutions provider. We welcome you, Vaibhav, on the stage. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Ramkesh, Jangra, Global Inbound Supply Manager, Ericsson Global. With over 25 years of experience in supply chain and logistics management, he has led a large-scale global logistics operations and is recognized for driving efficiency and resilience and innovation across complex international supply networks. Last but not the least, may I have a privilege of calling on stage Mr. Mithileshwar Thakur, Secretary General, Apparel Export Promotion Council. With extensive experience in international trade, export promotion, and industry development, he plays a key role in advancing India's apparel exports and strengthening the sector global competitiveness. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the panel. Can we have resounding applause for all the panelists and our moderator for the third panel discussion of the day? I request Mr. Keku to please take it ahead from here.
Can I keep this with you? Go for it. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this session. I hope, along with my colleagues on the dais and myself, we make this informative and interesting for you. So before I commence, how many of you in the audience are exporters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we got 7 exporters here. And the rest of us are those of us who are going to support the exports and help you guys navigate this complex situation that we are in. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, good evening. You know, we live in a world of certainties. And there are 2 certainties that I learned in school. One was death and taxes. Those were the only 2 certainties. Now I learn of some new certainties in life. Tariff changes, notifications, geopolitical shifts, trade agreements, bilateral agreements, free trade agreements, supply chain diversification, restriction market access, nearshoring, etc. These, ladies and gentlemen, become the new normal for what certainties are. Over the last couple of days, I've been having discussions with my colleagues here to discuss about what exactly are the exporters wanting from the industry. Okay? And over the next 60 minutes, we're trying to help us understand that when we talk as an industry among ourselves, but when we talk to our shippers, our customers, we get a perspective which is a little different from what we've been talking all along. What exactly do they want? I'll tell you. Speed, reliability, visibility, and resilience in the air cargo networks. Basic. There could be more, they could add on more, but these are something that they want. And we talk a lot about them as we move in our career, but there is something that we need to now take further and help them understand. You know, we often hear the statement, think out of the box. Ladies and gentlemen, please think what is inside the box and think of what is the box. I don't want to think of what's outside the box because that's not in my purview. It's very important, and I'm serious, it's very important for us to understand when Mr. Thakur or Mr. Prakash are moving their cargo, okay, we see it as a box, we see it as a service that we are providing. But we need to know as an industry, basically what are we moving, okay? And that helps us and an industry, whether as an airline, as an airport, as a forwarder, we need to pay that extra attention on the product, okay? We have representations from the telecom industry and we have an apparel industry. Both are different products, different markets, different handling. I can't apply the same knowledge, I can't apply the same handling in this case. What do they want? A box symbolizes a customer's promise. They have in turn promised your customer, overseas in this case, that this is going to come in the condition that you have delivered to us as an industry. That's your basic. It's a promise that you've made. It's a business opportunity. It's a supply chain decision. And increasingly, as we go forward, this is also about our nation's competitiveness, about, let's say, in the logistics cost, etc. How are we going to manage that? Now, you have been introduced to the panel, so I'm not going to do that, although I would love to do that again. You have a mixture here of the shippers, the airports, the airlines, forwarders, and each of them come across to you with a perspective of what is their requirement. And this is going to be a dialogue between both sides of the table. Now we've got major targets in front of us. We've got a target from the Ministry of 10 million metric tons by 2030, 31. And a lot of times when people ask this question, and I tell them, don't ask me, okay? You need to ask these gentlemen from the trade who are actually doing the exports, who are actually moving the cargo or exporting the cargo. We are a service provider. We provide a service to uplift cargo. That's our job. We don't produce the cargo. So it's very important for us to understand the background to where they're coming from. So during the course of this discussion in the next probably 45 minutes or so, I'm going to put across a couple of questions to them, but behind my mind, there are three things that I think they want to hear from the three of you here. And the three questions are what I dread in the industry for the last 30 years. Where is my shipment? When will it arrive? Who is accountable if something goes wrong? Three questions that I don't like to answer. I try avoiding the answer as much as I can. And I don't like to get into the situation where I have to answer these questions. So, I want to start with Halit, and then I'll mix up this order a bit. Halit, as an airline and as an area, wide area that you represent and you cover across multiple regions, you know that the forwarders demand faster transit times, wider markets, greater supply chains. As a global airline, one of the biggest global airlines in the world, as we are, how do you see the trade requirements moving forward, especially ex-India? To you, Halit.
Yeah, thank you so much, Keku. Good question. As you know, end of February, I was in Mumbai for the air cargo event. Then I moved back to my home, Dubai, Saturday morning, and afternoon, conflict started. All flights stopped. So we can, after we finish our session and go out, maybe we will see different news So
Correct.
we have to be that much agile while planning the network. And in a country like India, ever growing, a country that is a country, but it's like made of out of many countries. All states, all cities have different production lines, IT, apparel, everything, any kind of product. And every year, new production is coming up. I think I heard also from Middle East also there is some extra production lines are moving to India now. So it's a very challenging but also great market, awarding market we can say. And when you say product, let's say apparel, you may need 2 days for a apparel or 30 days. It depends on not only the commodity, but within the commodity there are different requirements. So we have to manage all of these requirements. Even one product can have different 5-10 different requirement sets that we have to find a solution for. So for that, we use our own belly capacities, of course, passenger flights. The cargo flights, that's more agile and dynamically can be planned because not depending on the passenger load. And of course, charters on our own. On top of that, the airlines of India and the other airlines, they share the capacity as Interline with us. We have good partnerships with the airlines that fly to the smaller T1, T2, T3 states that needs their cargo up and down. And also multimodal is one of the good options. Sea air, air connection where we have capacity bringing down the cargo from India, let's say to Maldives, where we have ample capacity, but there's not much cargo there. So we can offer a fast but reliable and cost-efficient solution where the flight is already going for us or for other airline. So it's very complicated but possible. So when we give these options to the customer, then they can go to their end customer and these are the options, these are the pricing for each option, and we build on top of it. When we have especially a good communication from the customer end to plan ahead for long-term commitments. Of course, also some airports are newly coming up, some are more established, but we can offer a better solution if the customer can give us a big commitment on a lane that's not discovered yet. We can invest in that lane. I can summarize it that way.
Thank you, Halit. Yeah, you have a new airport right next to you, and for you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Iron Lady behind the Noida International Airport, and I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you, Kiran, on the inauguration of the Noida International Airport. I've been following this journey for 5 years. I know that the effort that has been put into getting this airport, like you rightly said before we met, this is a dream come true, you know, from conception to having this done. So congratulations on that. Kiran, I wanted to focus with a bit of your experience now as to how you had this airport done. This is going to be a benchmark for the next set of airports that are going to be developed in the country, and there are going to be a lot more that are going to come to the country. Keeping the theme of this particular session where we talked about how we can support our exporters, how we can support our manufacturers, how do you see this in a larger role of efficiency and global trade competitiveness vis-a-vis your terminal?
So first of all, thank you, Keku, for the congratulatory message. But I speak on behalf of the entire team. I personally am just humbled that I am a part of this project. But there is immense power behind it. There's a power of 380 odd people that never gave up, and thousands of laborers vendors, partners that have helped us bring this to reality. Our first flight will be taking off on the 15th, which is next week. But I think what I would like for all of you to think about is the fact that I have left that and I've come here because cargo and what it means to us is such an important integral part of how we've developed this airport. So just to answer your question, I think, what we did is we focused on simplicity. There's many bells and whistles you can put into anything, including design, including functionality, including several, algorithms for big data that you want but you will never use. What we did is we focused on simplicity and to only focus on those areas which actually matter to the shipper or the exporter. So I'm just going to talk specifically about cargo. Now, I'm part of the Zurich Airport Group. The Zurich Airport Group is not very famous for cargo handling, but we are very famous for simplicity and efficiency. So you take that, the simplicity and the efficiency, and then you find a partner who knows how to run cargo terminals around the world, which we did, and we partnered with AI SATs. If you come and visit the terminal, you will see that it is actually designed for only two key areas. Number one is that we have different processes for different types of goods. Electronics, because we have apparel here, I'll say apparel, fruit, pharmaceuticals, all of them have a different timeline. So how quickly can you run through a process so that it gets off the truck, into the terminal, out onto the aircraft? So it's all based on time sensitivity. That is one. The second thing that we have spent a lot of time and energy on is trying to uncomplicate very complicated regulations when it comes to handling. So the first thing we did, when we designed this, we actually sat with the regulators and asked them exactly what is it that you need in my airport terminal so you can help me process the shipment as soon as possible and as accurately as possible. I will tell you, we're still struggling a little bit with that because the intention is correct, the effort is there, but the fact remains that we ourselves have this habit of working within very complicated systems in order to get simple solutions. We can't help it. I think it's in our DNA, I'm not sure, but the fact remains that we are just like that, right? I mean, you've heard that many times, I'm just like that. So what we've tried to do is sit them down at the table and say, just simplify for particular things. The region we're in, electronics plays a very big role. So the focus is focus on electronics and see what we can do with that. So I think that experience, I guess you will only understand it and feel it once we start operations. So you can actually, see what I mean by that. And our partners, like I said, they have great experience and they've worked very closely with us. The biggest advantage we had, and Keku is very familiar with this, is that it was a greenfield. I have nothing against, cargo infrastructure that exists around the country today, but the fact remains that very little of it had the opportunity to get developed as a greenfield, which basically means you had the space, you had the time, you had a lot of ways to understand what does not work anywhere else. So how do you design it here? We had that opportunity. And we have spent time doing that. So the terminal that we've put together, we call it a multimodal cargo hub because it is not just an integrated cargo terminal, it is also an integrated logistics warehousing zone, which is all together in about 80 plus acres of land. As that develops, we will be able to create an ecosystem like none other that exists. Definitely none other that exists in India or even in this part of the world, and definitely something that we could easily say that we can compete with, the big multimodal cargo hubs in the United States. or even in the Middle East. So I welcome all of you, and I guess the experience is going to be in actually the tasting of the pudding. Our first freighter arrives on the 17th of this month, so we are incredibly excited, and we will be sharing all this excitement with all of you on, obviously, social media. So thank you.
Thank you, Kiran. And again, once again, wish you all the best on the successful launch of your flights. Vaibhav. Firstly, for ladies and gentlemen who are not on LinkedIn and who don't follow Vaibhav, you should. Vaibhav is recently been appointed on behalf of the Government of India, Ministry of Commerce, as part of the think tank on how cargo export promotion takes place. So please follow him. It's very important that he gets the encouragement and the support from all of you. And also please trouble him with your problems as well. Okay? Good introduction, right, Vaibhav? Good. So, Vaibhav, you are the first interface between the gentleman on the left and the lady and gentleman on your right. You are the interface. So, basically, that's why you're sitting there, just to be very clear of why we positioned you there. Vaibhav, you have the first-hand experience of what the shippers want. You understand their product, you understand the exact specification, which you then translate, whether it's to an airline, a terminal, or to an airport, as to what exactly precisely they want. Now, I told you what I think they want. They are also going to tell you what they think they want. But from your perspective, how difficult it is to marry the two? We all talk of, seamless integration and blah, blah, right? In practical, in actual, you face still challenges in the translation of this. Over to you.
So, Keku, thanks for that introduction and putting me in the spot. But in fact, you put it very well, and I think everybody would have to understand that the folks on my right are asset owners.
Yes.
Right? They have costs. It's heavy to have assets, right? And here you have inventory owners. They're building, their factories are on, they're holding inventories. So it's tough on both sides. So obviously, our job becomes much more relevant to understand the pains of supply chain on both sides. What are the challenges?
Correct.
And it's not only, about reliability. It's about the pressures they have on the commercials. Because at the end of the day, whatever they are making is only going to be bought if it's as competitive as the next country exporting to the importer.
Absolutely.
So it's not something which, we can dismiss and say that it's, it's just a typical pricing methodology. It's how customers are. It's how opportunistic airlines are and everybody else is. It's a science at the end of the day. You need to understand where the chain begins and how it moves. And it's not, when you say export alone, you've got to think integrated, right? Where is their raw material coming from? Where the problems begin? Because that allows you to understand what is your predictability, right? You know the game better as a forwarder or as an integrated supply chain provider, solution provider. We can foresee problems because that's what we do day in and day out.
Correct.
Right? And that allows us predictability. That allows us challenges to know, what, this supply chain is going to break on the imports. You're not going to get components on the electronics. They're not going to be able to assemble. And you know what's going to happen is that they're not going to be able to meet their commitments in this month.
Correct.
And this is something that's going to overflow because you know what, in my conversations with my customer, I understand that, all right, is this an ad hoc opportunity or is it something that you're going to continue to perform on? And you're going to see that flow into the next month because that's exactly what our friends at the airlines want to know.
Correct.
Right? What am I seeing? And this is, I think, somewhere where we have to establish a lot of maturity as a fraternity at large because I think we come in with a negotiation mindset. We're all on the pricing and, saying anything to get the price, anything to put it out there. And we've lost credibility, right? Our customers have lost credibility on that front. I think there's strong collaboration that is required in times of today. nobody benefits from misrepresentation. We have to be transparent. In fact, and the same logic applies to the customers on the side as well. You need to decide who you want to be with, and then go fight this battle together, right? It can't be solutioning with one and execution with someone else, right? It worked when it did, but today it's going to fail. Because the expertise doesn't stop at just moving your products out. It starts with understanding what your product is, what entails to make your product, what are the costs associated with the product, what are the chains at various levels, how much of sea, how much of air cargo. So complete integration. This would also allow partners like us to invest on technology with customers, because today technology is something that everyone is using. I don't think we can tell, I mean today in business, nobody can exist without technology. So all of us are using some level of technology, right? When there is trust, when there is technology, there's information exchange, it's real-time solutioning that goes into designing resilient supply chains at a price point that works for everyone. It has to be a win-win situation. So honestly, we're deal makers, as you would put it, right? That's our job. Everyone has to walk away happy and satisfied. Otherwise, if either nobody's happy or everyone's happy. And that's the job that we have to carry. And it's something that I see as matured supply chains are coming in. It's also kind of associated with industries, if I would say so. As you mentioned electronics and you mentioned higher value segments coming in, you're seeing that they pay a lot of heed to supply chain because they can't afford breakdowns. You know, we saw this with automotive when they came in. We saw this with other sectors, which electronics, for example, the value of cargo dictates how efficiently these chains have to be managed. So all of that is changing. I mean, it's something that's attached to the growth story of the country. As our per capita GDP is improving, our spending power is improving, we're being able to bring in other industries. India's FTAs that are getting signed. So you're going to see a lot of these industries coming in, and all you have to do is rely on conversations, integrated supply chains. Technology cannot be ignored. Please, AI is very relevant in today's discussions, in today's every conversation. It's like the generational change that started with internet. It's the same change that's going to come in. So you'll have to understand, you know, what impacts it brings, and then just play the part of integrating all together.
Thank you. Thank you, Vaibhav. First time I heard our business in the context of being a science. Thank you for that perspective. Happy. Mr. Ramkesh, so you've heard this part of the story, the left side of the story. And I'm not being political because left and right has a lot of political connections these days, but just to the left. You represent a very big customer, and thank you. You pay a lot of our salaries. Without your business, we won't be in business, so we have to thank you for our business. Now, from a global supply chain perspective, and keeping in mind the expectations are not standard. The expectations are not as it was even yesterday. It evolves day to day. How do you, as Ericsson, probably as a larger electronics manufacturer, assembler, etc., how do you strategize based on such evolving mechanisms? Over to you, Mr. Ramkesh.
Yeah. Thank you, Keku. And as Vinith Vaibhav rightly mentioned, that it's all, everyone has to play their own role in delivering the right products at right time and right place. And of course, everyone play their crucial and important role.
I think the volume is it. Could you just increase the volume, please, in the end?
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah, now it's better.
Everyone play.
Much better. Thank you.
Yes, the important role, and the importance of product value when it reach destination on time and as required. From exporter side, our main challenges or main support required is on capacity building and cost effectiveness, plus speed and resilience in turbulence time and or in today's volatile situations. Many a time it has been seen that cost of cargo becoming more than cost of components.
Components.
Yes.
Okay.
And it pain a lot, and even after paying so much of cost, the turnaround time or say delivery time has increased manifold, which is another big pain area for the industry. And of course, working jointly and in collaboration with all stakeholders, we are able to find out some solutions and best possible method to deliver the components or say electronics goods on time. India is one of the emerging market and start focusing on manufacturing in India itself. And for this, it is very important and vital to have support from all partners who are sitting in left and right side to me. They are playing, say, my backbone for the goods where India can sign and India can also show to the world, yes, I can deliver you the desired goods better than my neighbor country, competition countries. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sir Ramkesh. Mr. Thakur, thank you for being here and your presence as well. You represent a very, very big industry and a very important industry, which is the apparel export industry in India. You're part of a lot of policy-making decisions, sometimes at the very, very highest level. And I look at this from an industry perspective, it's not so much as just a product. How do you see the government of India playing a greater role towards export promotion, towards reducing the logistics costs? We have done somewhere around the 8% mark at this moment. And how greatly can the industry support you towards global market access? Over to you, sir.
Well, I think we first to, understand and appreciate the requirements and aspirations and the expectations of the exporting community. When we are thinking of aligning our air cargo network with the needs of the exporters, I think it is best to, it is important to understand the requirements. You see that the global value chain, the supply chain disruptions are so common these days. We have, supply chains being reoriented. You have talk of nearshoring, all kinds of things. So logistics has acquired an even greater importance in the scheme of things. It's not that it was not important, it was, but with all these, changes and disruptions, I believe it is, because it is very critical to your cost competitiveness, your export competitiveness, the integration, the integration in the global value chain and all of that. And the models have changed. We are living in a time when we talk of lean inventory, we talk of, faster delivery, we are talking of quicker replacement cycles, and there is a slow but I think sure shift from bulk value trade to probably time sensitive and value intensive trade. So it's important to realign, and the expectations of the industry is, of course, very clear and categorical. The industry needs speed, it needs predictability, it needs reliability, it needs faster connectivity, it needs transparency, it needs visibility in the entire chain. And of course, so because ultimately what is happening is that all these stakeholders are working, they are trying to optimize their own systems. But the overall, the holistic view is not being taken, and ultimately we end up working in silos. So there is a need of reorientation. So I think something that comes to my mind is that we can reimagine the whole thing. Probably we can think of something like, I think till now, the entire logistic framework that we have been thinking and designing is from the airport or seaport point of view. Nobody has thought of you know, viewing it from manufacturing cluster point of view. So we need to bring that change. So if we talk about, suppose, export air corridor, now there we are thinking of that all the manufacturing districts having a direct connectivity with the airport through maybe, you know, digitally synchronized trucking system. I mean, it would be interesting for you to know that out of, I think, 750 plus odd districts that we have, only 62 districts contribute to almost more than 80% of exports. And the bottom 383 districts, they contribute, I mean, aggregate, they contribute only 1%. So there is a need to basically onboard, you know, every cluster, every manufacturing district. So that is one thing that we need to do. Second is that I think we can think of something like air cargo cities, you know. Because what is happening is that we live in a fragmented framework. You are talking of, you know, and the different activities, you know, you have testing, you have packaging, you have consolidation, you have warehousing, you have custom clearance at different points. But, you know, and there's a lot of back and forth and waste of time and you know, the cost. So there could be something like integrated complex, near all manufacturing complex, where we can, you know, consolidate all of these. Then again, we can think of, you know, something like, I would say, cargo aggregation system, because, you know, MSMEs, particularly in the sectors that I represent right now, is largely dominated by MSMEs. And most of them, you know, they do not have the sufficient cargo load basically to be competitive. So something cargo disaggregation could be done. Then we can think of, you know, the dual connectivity, in the sense that what happens that most of the clusters and the cargo load, almost 24 to 48 hours are lost, you know, in taking it to the nearest city airports. So we can bypass that. I mean, the whole cargo system could be decentralized. And, you know, and now we are talking of concept of mini, you know, air cargo hubs.
Correct.
That we are building, you know, because then we can have smaller carriers like, you know, the Airbus A320 or, you know, and all of that. They can probably connect the cargo directly to the international network. I mean, we can think of, there are certain time-sensitive, you know, products like pharma or e-commerce or maybe electronics, but even apparel is one, because it is quite linked to, you know, the fast fashion. I think every fortnight, I'm told, the fashion changes.
Correct.
So you end up being irrelevant. So maybe there could be a dedicated terminal for time-sensitive centers. There could be something like faster export lane within the airport itself for these sectors. So a lot of things I think we can do possibly, and there could be, of course, a national cargo digital you know, platform where you can integrate all the activities and can probably monitor this.
Yeah. So thank you, Thakur sir, for this. I'm going to stay with you, and as we come back here, and I asked this question earlier as well. Do you see a gap between your expectations and your reality vis-a-vis the industry? Do you see a gap? If yes, is this gap manageable? Is this gap that is not manageable? And the reason I ask is twofold. One, and this is out of experience, yeah, for you. One I ask is, we as an industry lack visibility of your data. I know the airlines data, I know the airport data, I know the forwarder data, I know the terminal data, I know the customs data, all visible. To us as an industry, what's not visible is, I don't know how many shirts are going to be exported tomorrow. I don't know how many pairs of jeans are going to Singapore tomorrow. Now, this has a couple of effects, okay? The first effect is, let's say from an airport's perspective, if Kiran ma'am needs to design a terminal for 20 years, and that's a minimum threshold that she would need to design a terminal for, I don't know whether jeans is going to be the product 20 years from now. I don't know. Probably it is, probably it isn't. probably 20 years from now, the biggest product out of Noida would be flowers or fruits, okay? Now, at the time of designing, and I leave it even to the airlines, to the forwarders, it's exactly the same thing. Can we bridge this gap somewhere where there is a regular flow of data, even if it means that it is a reasonably forecasted data, so that everybody else in this industry is now able to get a sense of where we are going. If Halit needs to put in more freighters, if Vaibhav needs to put in more terminals, if Kiran needs to expand, they are only doing on data that they already have of the past. So, is there something that we can bridge this gap with?
Yeah, absolutely we can, you know. There is a need for collaboration and you know, I would say nuanced collaboration. Because I'm talking about, say, fashion industry.
Sure.
We know that we are essentially summer-centric apparel exporting
Correct.
country as of now.
Correct.
So we will not have, so we know when will there be surge in the shipments. So that the airport itself could prepare for that, you know.
Absolutely.
Similarly, you have something like fashion forecasting. You know that when are, you know, retail launches, you know, planned abroad. So I think all of this could be shared. I'm told, I'm probably the only non-logistic guy over here, but I'm told that there is a concept of air cargo towers in some of the developed countries, you know, where all the you know, stakeholders are on board. Because today what happens, you know, the custom will, like they optimize, you know, they would optimize compliance.
True.
Somebody will optimize, you know, that, you know, the speed. I mean, everybody's focus area is different. But at the end of the day, I think there should be some central network that could be aligning all of these. So I think it's very much possible. So there is, like I told you, the other yesterday, I think we have had we have signed an MOU with NICDC, a logistic, you know, e-marketplace. And there would be something like, you know, Uber or Ola, you know, because then you can probably find out that which are the, you know, shipping lines, airlines availability, the rates, the cargo load, everything, all information is at your fingertips. So that you can plan in advance and book your, you know, shipments.
Clear.
So there is a need for greater optimization, there is a need for more collaboration, there is a need for greater integration, and of course, India, the way, you know, we are a digital India, so we can, I think, the opportunity is unlimited and immense.
I think there's very rightly put, and thank you for that opportunity. I think as an industry, we need to engage more beyond the industry. You know, our industry is something that we need to say, the future is beyond the airport. Future is not constrained to the airport. That's one part of this chain. It's beyond. It's trying to understand more products, seasonality, markets, restrictions, regulations, etc. And that's something that probably is a good learning for us. Thank you once again, Mr. Thakur. Mr. Ramkesh, straight away, you have 3 service providers here. On a macro level, are there expectations that are not present today, but you think these expectations are going to come next week, next month, next year, 5 years, 10 years down the line, that they have to be getting ready and prepared for?
Hello, thanks. The world is looking India as alternate of China in money manufacturing industries, if we divide in verticals. And every exporter will be successful when I'm able to deliver my goods to the destination at better cost and with speed. And both can be achieved if my 3 partners will run with me just like a marathon. I will hand over my material to Vaibhav. Vaibhav will hand over to Kiran. Kiran will hand over to Halit, and Halit will hand over to the customer who is sitting abroad like you. And if all 4 marathon partners will put their best, then I'm successful. Otherwise, if they are not putting their best, I'm not successful, despite my best efforts.
Very nicely put.
And of course, these are not only my partners, but these are the value-added players if they are adding value at each level, even not only they say yes to me, rather they will add some value and they can give feedback and input to me also. By doing process like this, we will do the things faster, we can do the thing better, and we can save some cost also, cost efficient method also. Of course, I talk very straight. If I'm competing with China, China is playing on economy of scale in manufacturing also, and they are playing or much ahead in economy of scale in cargo also. The connectivity of China with in rest of the world, or say European world, by rail, air, sea link, or better capacity or better, say, the lane formation. We need to develop also for all those lanes and these service sectors. As I repeat again, these are my marathon race partners. Everyone is more important, everyone is key important. And to make India success, our country success, they run as fast as I can. Thanks so much.
Very well said. Thank you, Mr. Ramkesh. I think that sort of sums up exactly where the future trend is. It's more communication and planning in advance from your side and from all the other side as well. Vaibhav, pointed question. Two parts. We have the ongoing West Asia crisis, and I'm just going to take it in the context of what is happening just now. There are a lot of learnings in this, a lot of learnings that is coming out. One is predictability, alternativity. Are we prepared for disruptions? Or are we saying, you know, there is a disruption policy in my desk. When a disruption happens, I will manage it. Keeping this in mind, okay, and keeping your initiative, your dad's initiative of having the AFS up and ready, you had a plan that you wanted there to be an alternative, and you collaborated also with Noida International Airport to have this seamless. You've looked into what the shippers wanted, you've looked into what the customers wanted, what the forwarders wanted, you formulated this. How do you see this moving forward? Do you see there being impediments even now in making it actually be beneficial for them? They are here, they want to hear from you. How do you want to take this forward?
Look, in terms of adding, and as Mr. Thakur also mentioned, you know, he was from a very non-logistician perspective, what he mentioned is having export at the manufacturing location or in a manufacturing ecosystem. That is in effect an AFS concept.
Yes.
Right? It's where
Yes.
you are custom clearing the cargo and it's going directly to the terminal, it's you know, all screening, everything happens off airport, goes ready built for carriage, for uplift, right?
Correct.
Now, this is something that the exporter wants, and this is just seconding the demand, right? I don't even have to mention it because it came from somebody who doesn't even speak the logistics language. We're just taking it into policy and into effect, and it's something that's already been in practice in global markets for decades, right? That's one part. So the demand sits. The customers want it. They want to be able to have seamless play, which is directly taking the cargo at least to the gateway. Now
Correct.
comes gateway onwards, the middle mile, the last mile, right? So with the West Asia crisis, there's disruption. What does everyone want when there's disruption? They want stability. That's where you bring in block deals, right? If you're able to block out capacity, you're able to plan supply chains, right? And this is going back into the first, into what we were speaking in the first dialogue as well, is where you bring integrated solutions, right? You don't have to use direct airport connectivity to every airport in Europe, right? You take a ULD into somewhere, into a multi-country ULD into a center point into Europe and then truck it across. It's something that our international peers have been doing for decades,
Correct.
right? And that's where China has this advantage going into Europe. And, you know, Halit can second that from an airline perspective. He loves it as well. Airlines love it as well. They get consistency to a gateway where they have probably capacity, and you're able to build a network or an RFS basis a ULD program further on. And that's what this ecosystem needs, right? So the demand sets, the customers want it. The resilience only comes in when you have smaller capacity blocks available. It can never be something that an asset owner can bring, but an asset-light model, this is the only way to do it. This is how you build the chains, and this is how you push the chains with more and more cargo, so that tomorrow it gives visibility to asset owners to deploy more assets to support you, right? So this, in fact, plugs the entire loophole in the entire chain. And maybe I'm just optimistic, right? Because we would not have put that investment in if we weren't.
Of course.
But that's the view that probably everybody needs to take. It's not the limit, it's not the threat, it is the solution, right? It is the solution. It takes away all your first mile nuances, the domestic nuances, the problems that the exporters face to get the cargo to the airport, right? And it takes away the other nuances for the airlines, which is predictability, block agreements, block trades moving forward. For the airport as well, it allows free movement of goods coming in from wherever. I mean, if they're able to attract capacity, as I would say for NIA's perspective, what can they do to attract capacity? You know, probably give more subsidized, I know that's not the best way, but subsidized landing parking to the airlines or the freighters to come in. Now, how do they fill up the freighters if there's no ecosystem, right? Absolutely. This is where this capacity place comes in, the added extension and the added infrastructure. So I think that's the only way you build resilience. It's tried, tested. It's markets like China that have proven it already. Hong Kong, 95% of the cargo that pushes through is this. And look, they've seen disruption. I think there's a cycle of disruption. I know it never used to be as often as it is now, but there are cycles of disruption. They've always been cycles of disruption. There have been crises, there's been other things, but that's where resilience comes from. You just, when you're asset light, you're able to move faster.
Absolutely. Ma'am, thanks for that perspective. I think one thing that the West Asia crisis has taught us is that plan for the unplanned much ahead in advance and plan it at a moment's notice when you will have to take action. Kiran, very quickly to you, I appreciate what you mentioned about simplicity and efficiency being the cornerstones of what you designed. I also appreciate the fact that, you know, we are a regulated industry. Whether we like it or not, probably 95% of what we do as an industry is regulated. That it is, we live with it. I want your quick perspective on 2 points. One on sustainability and one on digital transformation. I hope you do not allow any shipment to come into your terminal with a piece of paper. If they come, stop it at the gate and tell them, out. But that's my visual. Your thoughts, Kiran?
Okay, so I'm going to be really, again, simple. You know, we speak a lot about digital transformation and we speak a lot about sustainability. Those are almost buzzwords, if you ask me. The reality is that all this costs a pretty penny. It costs me as an airport operator, it costs the everyone in the whole system, right? So that is one part. So whatever it is, whether it's sustainability, you know, trying to be more technologically efficient, digitally driven, all those, when you come to, like, for example, my airport, it is all part of the whole design. So that is not even something that we have to plan for. It's already there. But the fact of the matter is that, like I said, it costs a pretty penny. Now, when it costs a pretty penny, the question comes about how do you recover that, right? There is a very good mechanism that the regulator has put together on how we recover all of these investments, right? There is a format. But I think because I've been in this industry so long, I think where we sort of, I want to say falter a little bit, is that we're not able to pivot quickly. And we're not able to pivot so fast that the downtime is negated. You see, we spend too much time in trying to create frameworks that for some reason are never supposed to fail, but you know frameworks fail. So we try and create an environment which is totally risk averse. And when you're trying to do that, it is very difficult to pivot at the right time. So many opportunities have come, they've been presented, they've knocked at the door. So many examples. I mean, COVID was a great example, right? When bad situation, but a massive opportunity. And we were very happy with, if I may say so, those were small wins. But then were we able to push it and keep it consistent? Somewhere, again, we faltered and got back into the same old. So my issue is that. My issue is not the ability, it's not the investment, it's not the idea of recovering the investment. It actually comes not on environmental sustainability, but on sustainability of the human spirit. You've got to keep doing it, and we've got to keep pushing our policymakers and our regulators that don't let go. Bring in programs that allow me to take more risk. I'm the private investor. Allow me to do that. But protect me, because
Correct.
I'm doing something that might give amazing results. In our lifetime, you just have to look around you. What we call startups is because somebody took the risk. But in the countries where most of them are successful is because there is an added layer of the regulator itself protecting that kind of research, investment environment. So I think somewhere as a team, as a group, whatever it may be, I think we kind of need to move in that direction. And I think we'll be okay, because you have the market here, you have the prowess of creativity, you have the innovative engines here, but then somewhere we get scared because there's not that extra layer of protection, right, at the end of the day. So I think that's something, Keku, maybe you and the community at large can take it up.
Certainly
Yeah.
will do. And I think it's very important that we move from talking to action. Accepted. Halit, Turkish is known for technology adoption way ahead than a lot of airlines do, that I know for sure. Your systems, your processes are compatible to what is the best in the world. How important is this from your perspective that this information disseminates through the chain to the exporters, etc., who can see added value to what you bring to the table?
Okay, technologies, AI, the others are buzzwords, and we are, yes, adapting way ahead of others, okay. But still, it's a people business.
Yes.
If I don't get the feedback from the airport, from the forwarder, from the exporter, and put that perspective in my conclusion, only the data I have, it's not enough. So it has many stages to be successful. Coming back to the conflict, I arrived home, I said Saturday morning, afternoon, then the flight stopped. Yes, how to tackle that thing, everything's changed. Monday we were ready with a new plan. On Saturday evening, Sunday, all day, we were in touch with the HQ, with all relevant partners within ourselves. No technology can take this action. People took this action. All Sunday people worked, and Monday we were ready how to action for India, for example.
Awesome.
So in terms of where we will operate more freighters, what will be the rate structure, what is the challenges. So all the plan was in place. So we still operate maybe 15 flights extra every week to India. And maybe at least 50 calls for extra flights our team is taking with our HQ, with the authorities here every day, daily basis still. If that's how it's going to be, we are ready to give more from our side, the extra mile. But when the flight departs, it will land, that's for sure, 100% almost, thank God. It's a most safe part of the mode of transport. But the problems are on the ground. With the stakeholders, we have to challenge that small problems that happens on the ground together.
Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I have for you. I have 3 minutes and 21 seconds. I can take 25 questions. No. So we'll do it a little different this time. Do you have some questions for them just to check whether they were paying attention to what? Probably you can quiz them. Go ahead. No, happy to have some very pointed questions if there are from anybody here. Or, yeah, please go ahead. Sorry? Right. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for allowing me a question. This question is to Ms. Kiran. Do you see Jewar Airport becoming a manufacturing come export node rather than remaining just an airport in the near future?
Okay, so the 101 in airports is that the geography of where the airport is plays a huge impact on the type of traffic, right? So where we are, it's very clear that cargo, I mean, we don't call it manufacturing hub, but yes, the import and export of cargo will be a big component. But our airport is actually, just like any other airport, we just have the added advantage of having actually put effort and design into building a multimodal cargo hub. So the passengers will be what they are, you know, like any, like what you're used to seeing. But definitely, we are creating something that we believe in North India will become the export-import hub of choice. Absolutely.
Any other question? Thank you. Thank you to my fellow panelists. A huge round of applause to them for their wisdom and knowledge that they've shared. Thank you. There's a question?
Yeah, so let me introduce myself briefly. I am Somya Sahu here. So I am trying to run a company from Cuttack, which is a tier 2 city, and we're trying to digitalize Indian domestic air cargo. Digitalization of Indian domestic air cargo in terms of globally relevant practices of technology and analytics. So what we have found, we are now around 4 years and 8 months old. What we have found is that the most pressing issue happening in all major Indian airports is that capacity utilization of air cargo. That's the most pressing issue which the entire aviation industry in India is facing. Capacity utilization of air cargo, which can be done by elevating more commercial cargo into the aircrafts, because aircraft generally carry 4 items. One is the aviation fuel, passengers cargo, which is mandatory to carry, and then commercial air cargo. So if you are not utilizing commercial air cargo into the space of the aircraft, we are actually wasting our resources. And probably that may be the major factor for why the airlines, most of the airlines, actually all the airlines in India are in red. So before thinking about anything on exports, because I have been substantially exposed to international domain here. So Hong Kong, if you see, compare with Delhi IGI, passenger traffic is 75% of Delhi IGI, but Hong Kong's air cargo is around 5 times of Delhi IGI. Similarly, Hong Kong is also 2.5 times Paris, Charles de Gaulle and Frankfurt Airport in Germany. Obviously, both these airports are at least 2 times busier from Delhi in terms of cargo volume, but in passenger capacity, they are not that compared to Delhi.
So, is there a question there, or you just?
Yeah. So, how to deal with cargo capacity utilization? Until and unless we deal with this deep-rooted issue, and we are going for exports, we are going for airports planning. Cargo capacity utilization is more of a business sense issue.
Yeah.
So we are not utilizing our resources. It's a basic fundamental issue we are facing.
What I'll do is, I have my colleagues here, Mr. Meyer is looking at me and Dr. Arloff is looking at me with some very pointed daggers. Their session starts in about 5 minutes. Please take your question on digitalization to them. That's what they are here for. They've got 500 years of experience in this thing. They will answer you. On your other part of capacity building, we'll take it offline. I think I've met you before. We will do this later.
Interacted in Mumbai with you and Mr. Harit as well. I was in Air Cargo India, which
Well,
was
so we have
organized by
to,
Mr.
we
Mukim.
have to, okay, fine, fine. So please. I'm really sorry to interrupt you in between. So we can just take this question personally. What do you say, panelists? Yeah. So very enlightening session. This discussion offered a clear view on better aligning with the changing requirements of exporters. Thank you to our distinguished panelists and moderator, Mr. Keku, Bomi, Gazder, for sharing such valuable insights. Can we have resounding applause, ladies and gentlemen? Can we bring back some energy for the panelists? Thank you. Now I request Mr. Mohit Mewani to join us on the stage to felicitate our remarkable industry leaders and present them our token of appreciation along with our remarkable moderator, Mr. Keku, Bomi. First, we have Mr. Halit from Turkish Cargo. Please put your hands together for Mr. Halit. Ms. Kiran Jain from Noida International Airport. Thank you, Ms. Kiran, for joining us. Mr. Vaibhav Vohra from Continental Carriers. Mr. Ramkesh Jangra from Ericsson Global. Last but not the least, Mr. Mithileshwar Thakur, our panelist from Apparel Export Promotion Council. A very knowledge-driven and seasoned panel we had with us. I request now Mohit to felicitate our remarkable moderator, Mr. Keku, Bomi, Gazder, and present him a token of appreciation. And now I request everyone to please come forward as we are going to have a group picture.